Okay, ladies, we are on day 5 of our 6-step process to conquering your chaos. And I really grouped 2 steps together in with this one. It's self-awareness and FOMO, which is the fear of missing out. They could probably be one step, but I feel like there were some differences to them. So 2 steps, but we're doing them at the same time. So self-awareness is really the key that leads you to self-improvement. You cannot improve and make progress emotionally, physically, intellectually without being self-aware of where you currently are. So it's tough. It's definitely gut check. And I think a lot of us, including myself, just don't do it. I mean, me previous to my coaching and learning of all of this, just didn't do it. It felt icky. It felt yucky. You don't want to acknowledge that. You just want to buy stuff and push those thoughts and those self-awareness things all to the side. So it's just really important to have reality checks with yourself and really take stock in what are you doing? How are you feeling? What's working? What's not working? And this can be applied across the board. So a point that I wanted to make was I saw this very clearly. I was documenting my fitness and my nutrition, everything I was eating, all the vitamins I was taking, and I wasn't feeling well. I was very tired. I thought it was just because I was, a mom of 6 kids and I just had a baby, but I thought it would have been better by then, and it wasn't. So I went to my doctor and we did a blood test, and the results came back and I was low in vitamin D, but not too low, so she wasn't worried about it, except that I knew what I'd been taking, and I knew that my chiropractor told me to take so much vitamin D every day, and so it was very, very odd that the levels would be where they were at. So I went back to my doctor and I said, hey, I'm taking all of this, but this is still low. Can we look into it further? Which we did, and then found out that I was celiac. So once we made all the changes and cut out all the gluten, all of a sudden I felt better. I had more energy. I had more mental clarity, and none of that would have happened had I not been self-aware of what I had been doing. What am I putting into my body? What am I doing with my body? So it's just a small example of why I think it's so important to make sure you know where you're at with everything and all the different aspects of your life. Some mentors that I really respect, they do a kind of a whole life evaluation every Sunday. They have a scale of 1 to 10, and they look back at their week and they say, how was my family? How was my work? How was my sleep? How was my anxiety? And then they also ask a few key questions about, was there a time that I was depressed this week and what happened? Was there a time that I was extremely tired this week and what happened? And it takes, 15 minutes to do this, but then you have these things going forward. You know what changes you need to make. You know what areas might be suffering in your life. And it's just a very, very powerful and freeing tool to have. So, choosing your schedule, knowing your schedule, choosing your food, knowing your food, all of that is only going to help you in the long run as you're constantly trying to aim for this more peaceful lifestyle, right? So basically, the more you pay attention, the more you understand you and your uniqueness in your unique life. So that's kind of where we're going to wrap up with awareness. And then the next step is FOMO. And this has been very important for me because it is something that I suffered with for a very long time as I had gotten Facebook, and especially when I started my coaching business, because all of my coaching business is through social media. So I saw a lot of social media, and I saw a lot of very pretty people doing very successful things, and that was hard for me. So with the fear of missing out, that can really eke its way into your life from lots of different avenues. But jealousy, fear, envy, boredom, these are a lot of different feelings that could stem it for you. It's really a chameleon that blends in with your insecurities and really tries to amplify those. So again, I have my notes. They can be good. It can drive you to be a harder worker at your job, right? It can drive you to keep up your lawn better in your neighborhood. If everyone else's lawn looks nice, maybe you're going to make your lawn look a little nicer. If everyone else is being super driven and motivated on a task team you're at work, maybe you'll be a little more motivated, things like that. That's good FOMO, okay? But there's so much bad FOMO out there. So much bad stuff. So what you need to do is when you find that happening to you and you find yourself getting frustrated or jealous of something that you're seeing, most specifically on social media, but you will come across it a lot in just your everyday life, at the grocery store, at your workplace, at a mom's group, at church, it's really anywhere. So make sure when that's happening, you have the awareness, like we talked about, where you're noticing that, you see that you're having that train of thought, and you really take stock and figure out what is bothering you about that. Why is that bothering you? So a good practice to do is you can talk this out with someone, or you can write it down and journal it if you're a pen and paper kind of gal, and really write down, why are you feeling that way? What did you see? Why are you feeling that way? Why do you think it's bothering you? And then make a decision at that point. Let it go or make a change. Do you need to just let it go? Is it just something that is not pertinent to you? It doesn't matter. You have your own life. Let it go. Just let it go. Or do you need to make changes? Do you see that someone's doing something? And for me, I saw that someone else was managing to get in their exercise and be healthy in their everyday life. And I felt like I was missing out. Like, how's she doing that? How's she doing that? So I knew I needed to make a change. So I reached out to her and asked her, hey, what are you doing? And 3 years later, I'm a fitness coach with her. So shameless plug for my Beachbody team. But yeah, make a change if you need to. Next thing, social media. Most specifically, social media here. Sometimes it's just our bad mindset. It's just our negativity. It's our self-limiting beliefs. But sometimes it's our wanter. Like, you see something and you're not jealous or angry or anything, but you see it and you're like, oh, I want that. I want it. I want it. I want it. It's our wanter. It's going a little nuts. You have to understand that there's a lot of polished aesthetics on there. What used to only be from advertisement and marketing and companies and magazines and banners and storefronts is now every single person's social media account. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. Everyone has their own banner, and we just don't even know. We only see what they want to put out there. So a lot of it is just filters. It's lighting. It's adjusting time. It's any of these things, okay? It's polished aesthetics. It's not authenticity of what's actually happening, okay? We have to keep that in mind. Just like when we look at magazines, we know that people don't look like this. I mean they do, but they don't. We know that there's airbrushing and there's, what's that called when they when they edit pictures? I don't know. But we just need to understand that and know that we know our life, and you need to love what you have going on and not see this other stuff and think that that's just the way it is, okay? So change your language from not seeing things to not going, I don't get to, that missing out, and turn it into, change your FOMO to JOMO, okay? Your fear of missing out to joy of missing out. Meaning you've picked your path. Not that we can't change it, make improvements and changes, all that stuff, right? But you've decided where you are, okay? So when I see people, this is what I struggled with. I struggled with the freedom that a lot of my unmarried friends had for a long time while I was having baby and pregnancy. And I struggled with seeing these things. And these people, they just travel and they have date nights all the time, and they watch a binge series of Friends, and they go to all these great restaurants, and here I am nursing a baby for the 8th time that night, scrolling on Facebook. And I had to change that language from, it's not that I don't get to do that, it's that I do get to have this life form in my hand because I chose to have a family. That's not bad. This isn't bad. It's just our path, okay? We're all different. So you just really need to work on turning that turning that fear into joy, you know, seeing the blessings. And that all comes back to the gratitude. If you didn't start your gratitude journal, maybe start it now. Remember, we put down 3 good things. 2, well, I said 2 before, but 3 if you want to be, you know, a little more, I don't know, aggressive with your development, of good things that have happened that day. Start seeing those, and that's going to help you really build up what you're doing. So the last thing, don't try, this goes along with the judgment that we talked about before. Don't try to make up behind the scenes tales of what you think other people are doing. So when I was looking at those people that were traveling around the world, don't look at them and go like, oh, well, they must feel so unsatisfied though, or they must be making up for a lack of this, or things like that. Don't try to build other people's stories. It's not worth your time and it's not healthy. You don't need to make yourself find reasons to not want what they have, or to downplay what they're sharing with the world. That's just negativity, and we don't need to do that. Instead, what can you do to make your life more appealing to you? Do you see that and wish for adventure? Then look at your life and be like, where can I put adventure into my life? How can I work this into date nights? How can I work this into day trips out with the family? Things like that. Just really delve into that awareness of why are you feeling a certain way, and then what kind of changes do you think you need to make, because we don't have to put other people down to lift ourselves up. So that kind of wraps up everything that I wanted to talk about here with our awareness and FOMO section. So I really hope you've had a great week. I hope you can walk away with some good and helpful tools to deal with the chaos that's in your mind and in your life, and just get some clarity and joy coming in. So can't wait to get feedback from you guys and continue forward with getting to know you all.